tell you guys a story tonight. It's a personal story for me.
Hey!
So this is it's gonna be a hard story. This is the first time I've been to this house with all of you. It's the first time that I've been to this gala. A lot of you guys have asked me tonight, have I ever been to this gala? I have not. Last year on April 1st, my wife Kelly and I were in New York City at Sloan Kettering. We're with our son Nolan. Nolan was recovering from his third major surgery in just about 15 months. He had hepatoblastoma, it's childhood liver cancer. Now, before I get into this story, I want you guys to really stop and think, and I want you to put yourself in my shoes, not because I'm up here, but I want you to imagine that the boy that I'm talking about and the story that I tell is your kid. He's your boy, he's your girl. That he would be a he, but a girl. And they're 3. Didn't deserve cancer, but they got it. All right, back to my story. Before I do that, I guess now that I remember, another line that I wanted to make sure I say is to all the dads out there. If you're anything like me, you want to fix everything. You want to make it right. You want to do everything that you can for your kid. So take that thought as I take you through this journey. So back to the story. I'm in the room, I'm on duty. We're in the ICU recovering from surgery. Nolan's not feeling well, and the nurses assure me that I could go. So like we did many, many, many times, it was time for me to be off duty, go back to the hotel, take a break. And this typically was a really hard thing for me to do because I was Nolan's favorite. He never wanted me to go. It didn't matter who was around. He'd say my name even if I wasn't there. So, I know that many of you in this audience are saying he's just saying that, but Kelly's right over here. Right here. You can ask her. I was a favorite all the time. There's lots of other family here too. They could vouch for me, but it really is true. So I decided to do as the nurses told me, and I just wanted to walk back to the hotel, take a break, put out some work fires that probably had been burning for many, many days. And I was ignoring them because my priorities were all of a sudden in line. And I just didn't really care about them too. Sitting there on the hotel bed, just getting some things done, and the phone rings. Kelly calls 2 times. In our house, 2 times means you pick up. After that short phone call, with Kelly letting me know that I need to get back to the hospital. Quickly. Nolan's machines were given readings that nobody in the ICU staff liked. Just wasn't given the readings that they wanted to see. So I dropped what I was doing and started walking back to the hospital as quickly as I could. You know, in a moment of reflection, I think back to that time and I say, wow, I was ignorant at that moment, because I didn't realize what was about to happen. So I walked back to the hospital, and I even remember being on the 9th floor elevator, just waiting for it to ding and get off. And it was still fine in my world. But I get off that elevator, and I walk through the ICU doors, and I see something that I cannot erase. As I walk through, take a quick right, and on my left, Nolan's room is the very first room. At Sloan in the ICU, they only have 4 rooms. There's 4 beds. It's quaint. It's small. I see more hospital staff in my son's room that I've ever seen in one place in my life. I walk in, realizing what's happening. Kelly's screaming at me. Tony, what's happening? Repeating it over and over again. What's happening? I'm screaming, no, 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 no. I look to my left, and I see Nolan. A nurse is on top of Nolan, giving him CPR. I beg them to let me talk to him. I was his favorite. He'd stick around for me. Please. That didn't happen. I didn't get to talk to him. Not only did I didn't get to say goodbye, but I didn't get to talk to him to beg him to stay either. The staff ushered Kelly and I out of the room to a not so pampered spot on the floor in the hallway. Out of the way. At that time, praying, texting, crying, screaming, cursing, everything that you can imagine. Trying to gather ourselves to what's happening. This moment can't really be happening. Just about an hour later, the very same surgeon that operated on Nolan to extend his life came up to Kelly and I while we're sitting on the floor and said, "He's gone." So we get to go back into the room now. After a few moments, gather ourselves, and we go home. And we go into that room, and it's quiet. There's nobody in there. Just Knowles. Sure, We got to spend some time with him. But what's that? Nolan's lying there on the bed with his bloody Ellie and his bloody blanket, peacefully gone, never to return. It's in that moment that I realized that Nolan was home. That Jesus had called him home earlier than I wanted, but he called him home. The autopsy report reveals that Nolan died from complications from hepatoblastoma. They can call it whatever they want. But that's not what it is. Cancer didn't kill Nolan. The chemo killed Nolan. The drugs, made for adults with pared down doses, for my young boy, 19-pound frame, shove those drugs into his system, ravage his organs, and hope you beat the clock. My name's Tony King. I'm Nolan's dad. And I'm still his favorite. Thank you.